Ma'ams and sirs, welcome to the Jarrett Bellmund Show. We are located in our own homes today, but my goal remains the same. It is to assist you in your personal and professional growth by talking to community leaders like our guest, Don Mandelkorn. This episode is brought to you by Pro 16 Productions. Pro 16 Productions combines experience, passion, and innovation to capture the essence of your projects. Don and his wife, Margaret, have both worked in human services for 30 years when they lived in Vermont. After retirement in 2010, they made the decision to sell Vermont maple in the Southeast using the Asheville area as their base. Welcome to the show, Don.
Good morning, Jared. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure to have you. So excited to hear about what has been going on in your business. I know that there have been a lot of changes in strategies and things that have been going on. So let's start with, how are you and Margaret?
We're doing fine. We work out of our home anyway, so this part's not different. Our business lifestyle has changed dramatically as a result of COVID-19, but we're healthy, we're happy, and while we're not selling as much, we're still selling pure Vermont maple syrup.
Excellent. Yeah, so in our conversation previously, you let me know that your business is basically built on three legs. Can you go into maybe a little detail of what those three legs are?
Sure. Yeah, we our business model is a relationship model based on three legs. Events. We do about 35 shows, trade shows, fairs, festivals a year, mostly in the Southeast, although every spring we take a 5-week road trip. In fact, we should be in the Great Lake area right now. So we sell at all different kinds of shows. And then the second leg is our business to business, and that's mostly here in Western North Carolina. Independent, family-owned businesses such as restaurants, bed and breakfast, retail outlets like co-ops, and other kinds of quirky, small, independent businesses. And the third leg is our online sales through our website. And that is, till this time, that has been the less active, less bearing of fruit, shall we say, of the three legs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's talk, because you do travel a lot, and that's part of why you chose the direction you're in, because you do like to travel with Margaret. Mm-hmm. You have some great trucks and vehicles that you use for Green Mountain Maple, which is really cool. But tell us about what does your travel regime really look like on a normal year?
Sure. Well, on a weekly basis, because we're on the road about 35 weekends a year. So generally, we'll hit the road either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on where the show is. Most of the shows that we do are typically 3-day shows. So we'll get to the spot where we're going, set up, sell like crazy, meet lots of great people, and then depending on the distance, Sunday or Monday, travel back to the Asheville area and immediately begin to kind of turn everything around, reset the truck, cook our own food, get ready, because we eat out of our cooler mostly. And so that's the regimen that we typically go through. We do shows in the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and we've done shows in Virginia, Kentucky. And like I said, every spring we take a road trip. Last year, our end point was South Dakota, Rapid City, and this year would have been Michigan. So we'd actually be in Nashville on our way back for the Mother Earth Fair this weekend.
Wow. That's great. Well, it's not great that you're not going this year, but that's great that that's how you've chosen to kind of set up your retirement life, right?
Right.
So that's, I think, a great explanation of what your travel looks like. So then the other is you work closely with local businesses here to provide that maple syrup locally. I know that the list is long, but feel free to share any of those because I'm sure people would love to know where they can get real Vermont maple syrup and not the other stuff.
Sure. The restaurants that we work with in this area, and again, we aren't interested in being the Walmart of maple. We just don't drop our maple and run. We want to try and have a relationship as best as we can with the businesses that we support. And we look at their social mission. Does it line up with who we are and what we believe in? Do they provide a livable wage? So restaurants, Honey and Salt and Flat Rock, the two Rockies for their chicken and waffle dish, Corner Kitchen, Sawhorse, Homegrown West. Those are a number of the restaurants that we work with, as well as some others. Hendersonville Co-op, Johnson Family Farm in Hendersonville, Lido Farms on the Chimney Rock Road. We also work with a guy out of Durham, North Carolina. He's got a waffle truck. So it's real important for us because we don't have distributors, we don't have salespeople. It's us, and it's important that we have that relationship with the business owner to make sure, like I said, that it lines up with who we are. That's what we believe in.
Yeah, I think that's really special about what you do is that you definitely are building relationships in this community and obviously others, but those are purposeful and not just sales-based relationships, which is really, really special. Well, let's get into the third leg, which I'd like to spend a little time on because I know this was I guess the contemporary term and what everybody's saying now is a pivot or but your online sales have become so much more important over the last 2 months than they were previously. And like you said, that wasn't something that it was available, but it wasn't something you really focused on or made a priority for. So let's start with just how the initial thought process came to how can you transition to online. And I'd like you to frame that around relationships because that's what you do.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, the mantra that we adopted was when we got hit with this pandemic was accept. There are certain things in life that we can't control. And this was not one that we could control. So we accepted the reality of watching our business melt away, accept, adjust. So try to regroup and figure out, okay, how do we make the adjustments to continue to do what we love doing, and then adapt accordingly. What is it that we need in order to make that adjustment successful? What skills do we need? What new relationships do we need to find? So that was kind of the mantra. Prior to COVID-19, the three legs, just to give you some context, events constituted 67% of our revenue. Business to business was about 23%. Online was only 10%. Now, it's not that we ignored it, but we focused on the other two legs. And so now, and this is recent numbers, events, 0, because we're not doing events.
Right.
Business to business, 40%, and online now represents 60% of our revenue. Now, understand our revenue levels are much lower, so the percentages are much higher, but of that, very, very low. But in April, we sold more online in April than we did all of last year.
Wow.
Pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And that's great as far as adjusting and adapting. I hate to hear that revenues are down, though I believe a lot of people's revenues are down, especially in food products. So I guess my question would be, what does the future look like? Because if you're increasing online sales to that point, your marketing must have changed also.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's start there. How did your marketing change, and how did you change your strategy of how you were operating
Sure. We realized we couldn't sit back and just wait for a return to normal. Our competitors, even though we pretty much have the market to ourselves here in the Southeast, which is one of the reasons why we came here in terms of pure Vermont maple or other pure maples. But our competitors are also Aunt Jemima, Mrs. Buttersworth. That's who we're competing against. So we needed to learn some new skills, and kudos to Blue Ridge Community College, and in fact, the entire North Carolina Small Business Center network, because we've done workshops and networking all across North Carolina over the last few weeks. So we had to make the adjustments. We increased our online sales, mostly through Facebook. That's our primary platform. The demographics for our online customers tend to be older, tend to be women. So using Facebook and just trying to do it well, rather than trying to be everywhere and not doing it good in any platform. So we increased online sales. We uploaded our Facebook, our business catalog to Facebook Manager for product tagging. We designed consistent messaging in terms of our brand throughout all the promotions that we did. We designed a number of giveaways and incentives and coupons. And we also had a Zoom presentation the other day. And that was pretty exciting, a little nerve-wracking, but that was our first effort to do that. We also have reached out to other businesses that have been working with us for referrals. We have done some pop-up markets in different high traffic areas, and we're starting to do farmers markets now in this area. And just to show you, just to wrap this question up, we didn't sit back. We actually added products to our website. We added some gift baskets. We kind of twist and turned on a couple of other products. So it wasn't just like hunker down, ride it out like a hurricane. We just decided just to kind of pump it up, do the opposite.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I'm going to say to anybody listening to this, go back and rewind the last 2 minutes and slowly write down everything Don just said. Because Don, the list that you just put out is what marketers would say is exactly what you need to be doing anytime, really. And you guys just picked it up and ran the ball, which is amazing and something special. Because I know those aren't skills that you and Margaret have just off the cuff. It's something you had to actually learn. And like you said, you found places that were able to teach you that. And I know the small business, the SBA has been doing amazing things in North Carolina. I've been really impressed with what they've done. So
I would be remiss if I didn't kudos to my son. My son is he's the associate marketing manager for the San Antonio Spurs, and he's been home based. So he's been our guiding light through all of this. And I would be remiss, and you as a parent would know this, that if you didn't mention your children's accomplishments and how proud you are about them. The other thing I just want to mention is during the Great Recession, Hyundai, I think it was Hyundai, decided to, instead of just waiting for the recession when nobody was buying cars, went out and told their customers, if you buy a car from us today, you have a year, you can return it, no questions asked. And so that they consumed a lot of the market share as a result of that. And so we even called our customers because we knew people are in a recession type spending pattern. So we just randomly selected people who bought from us online over the last few months, just called them to thank them and to let them know that when they're ready, we're here for them. And that's been helpful for people to stay loyal to us. And we appreciate that.
Yeah, the retention, right? Because sales is important, but retention is more important. The continuation of sales for the years to come. And I think that's great. The example you put with Hyundai, they took on a big risk, but it's paid off for the decade since then. That's amazing, Don. So let's talk about what the future holds for Green Mountain. I know that you guys have gone to this online sale and you've beefed it up and made it something new. It's not just that you decided to turn and you're just going to kind of throw stuff out the wall. You guys did that. Do you see your overall revenues increasing through the future through the use of online sales in addition to the other two legs of your operation?
Well, it's a great question, and we talk about this quite a bit. We've enjoyed increasing our online sales. We think that's good for us in so many ways. Once we get out of this pandemic, we're not going to scale back and let the online sales go back to being just a minute part of who we are and what we do. If we can reduce the number of events that we do in 2021, and replace that revenue with online sales, that's a good thing. I mean, we're not in our 20s anymore, and traveling can wear you down for a while. So what we do know is we're not going to back away from the energy that we created on our online sales program. So if we can cut back somewhere else, we'll do that, but we're not sure where that's going to take us right now.
Yeah, time will tell. But no, I think that's a great philosophy to have, and I think your strategy through this. I love your that you had some core principles that you made sure to follow through this. So Don, on the Jared Bellmund Show, I always ask the same 3 questions of my guests. So let's get into that. The first one is, what is the most influential book you've read in the last 6 months?
Okay. Well, I mean, I'd have to. I'm a voracious reader of history, and I'd have to say that it's going to sound so boring, but one of the books I recently read was U.S. Grant's Memoirs. It was a book he started after he retired from being president, which I think in many respects he was very underrated. And he finished the book just before he died of throat cancer. And I was just absolutely amazed what a great leader he was in a very tough time. So Grant's personal memoirs.
That's excellent. Yeah, I always find when I study history that getting those personal letters. So one of my favorites were John Adams' letters to his wife and her letters to him, and it's just it gives you a different view of history that is that's something special. That's awesome.
They were prolific letter writers throughout their separation.
Yeah, which is special. Great, I like that. I like that a lot. So, what is something that you've said no to in the last 6 months?
Well, without naming any names, I mean, a business might contact us and be interested in the first thing out of their mouth might be, well, what are your prices? And I get that. But after some discussion, it didn't feel like a good match. And so we eventually walked away from it and, wished everybody well. So it wasn't a blunt no, it was a soft no.
Yeah, and sometimes those are more powerful. Mm-hmm. I think, and that shows your heart, that you're people and relationship first, and that you have a product that you're selling that's not just maple syrup. Mm-hmm. All right, last question. If I gave you a billboard, you can write on it whatever you wanted, and millions of people would see it. What would it say? Well,
you walked into that one, Jared. First of all, it's been a wonderful honor working with you through the FABA board and the general membership. But you walked into that one. First of all, I would billboards in Vermont are illegal.
Oh, man.
Secondly, I would put on that billboard if it was outside of Vermont. This billboard should be illegal.
I love it. That's great.
Right?
So tell me why. Why are they illegal?
Sign pollution.
Okay.
A lot of people, when they get to Vermont and they drive along the highway, and they realize how beautiful things are, and it doesn't quite register just yet, but then along the way, somebody reminds them there are no billboards, there are no highway signs, obstructions, there's just beauty all around, and so highway signage in Vermont has been illegal since the 60s or 70s, maybe 73, I can't remember exactly. And it's one of only 3 states, I think Hawaii being the other, and I can't remember the other, but yeah, they're illegal in Vermont.
That's awesome. So this billboard should be illegal. I like that. That's great. I did walk right into that one, but that's a great answer, and it fits you perfectly. Don, I appreciate you spending some time with me today. Thank you for all you do for our community. Thank you for all you do for our businesses locally. I hope you and Margaret have a great day.
Thanks. Same to you, Jared. I enjoyed it. Have a good day.
Thank you for watching the Jared Bellmund Show. Be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell for future notifications, and check out the description for more information.